Hello, hello. Okay, so today we will be implementing basic AI for our game. So first of all, we need to separate. So currently, how our player controller work is that a data is there, and also the way we use our input is also in there. And for AI to work, we need we need to separate them both. So the data would be common between user control player and also the AI player. Just the input, this input difference will be there. So for that we have a character which will hold everything. So let's disable everything. Yeah. So in the player controller, the state is kind of useful for us, and inventory, camera, all these things we'll be using. So we'll just copy those things here, and also the start function will be also start function, change state, start turn, take turn. Yeah, we'll take all those functions down there. So these are all the functions which are required by any character who is playing, regardless of is it AI or is it user controllable. The difference will be happening here, right, in each of the states. So what we can do here is that let's also delete the same. Let's delete this. Oh no, that was different. Yeah, so we'll be removing all these things. Not sure if we'll be removing all this, but we'll remove this one. So we know, right? Let's remove start function, So so this would be our driving force. Like this script would be the, kind of like driver if we take that analogy. So we have our engine, which would be our character. So it will have all the crucial part for what character can do, but then we'll have kind of like brain or something like that, or player, which will be controlling the engine. Excuse me. Which will be controlling our engine, right? And now we can switch what kind of brain is this, right? Is it a player, or is it something called AI? And we can hook them both. Both of them can both of them can use engine in their own way. Right? So this is what we are going for, and this would lead us to very stable, not stable, but very flexible system where we can just, you know just replace this part, and it would become AI or not AI, or user non-AI. So that's what we are going for. So currently we have the data here. uh, I don't think we need first tile second tile, but let's not think that much hard here. So we'll remove the state. So we also need to think how the turn would, so it won't behave as it used to be. And one more thing we'll do is we'll create a new branch because we don't want to lose our old work. So I have not committed anything, and what I'll do is I'll create a new branch. I'll create this as AI, and then I'll bring my changes which I made currently into the current branch. And so yeah, so we have errors, now we have to solve them. So how this will affect a turn also. So turn manager just controls whose turn it is and other stuff. So we have two characters, right? We'll name as C1 and C2, and each of them are controlled by, uh, let's say, brain. So this is brain 1 and this is brain 2. This both either can be user controlled or AI controlled. Excuse me. Okay, so now whenever we have, let's say, this currently C1 is in turn. So the first state what we are doing when we have when turn is going on is we are selecting tiles, right? So what we used to do earlier is we had a method inside the player controller called select tiles, and we had just very basic logic of selecting first tile, right, and then we would flip for second tile, and it was also like inner state. So the first tile would then will allow us to do second tile, and then we'll, after some time, we'll check for some time, and then we'll check are both tiles, is it matching or not, and then yeah, so that's it. And once that is over, we just check, and then we would be changing our state once we check if it's everything, and we'll do our effects if the both tiles are matched. And if they are not matched, we will change our state. We'll change our state to use, right? So that's how we used to handle this. Okay, so that's how we used to handle, right? And the first tile and second tile we used to store in our player controller, like everything was there. But this timer, first tile and second tile, these all things are just there, like we are not using it anywhere else. Like it's just for that particular state when we are selecting tiles. And yeah, so we don't need this here. Right? We'll just delete this, right? Because this is nothing to be worried about, right? Also, the player controller, this player controller has only part he has to handle is the input, right? So currently the checktail function which we are currently doing here is not supposed to be here. Like it's supposed to be in the character. The character will handle this thing. So we'll remove. So I think we have checked it. Okay, do we not? So what we'll do is we'll put it here. Sorry, I kind of got easy. Okay, so that's the whole thing. So we have now checktail here, and this take turn function, we are calling it every update. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, we can. So basically now we have to inject, either we can inject this function here, you know, uh, from the player controller. Injecting would be kind of weird. So check tile now would take to. I think we can directly inject it. But now check tile does use first tile, second tile, which is not a big problem, because what we can here do is we can just pass tile, and we can just name this tile 1, or first tile, second tile, and we can do this. We can find the underscores. What is happening here? So find underscore delete, find underscore delete, find underscore delete, find underscore delete. Oh no, this is, we need this underscore. Okay, so our checktel function is done, and we'll make this public, right? The select tile and use cards. Currently, what we can do here is we can just create action, right? We can create like a lambda function which can, so we can take a reference to the function pointer, and then we can like basically run that, right? So yeah, so let's do that. So what we do here is, in the character, we will create, So same for use cards, like use card also. Yeah, let it be there currently. So we'll make a action which is kind of like void pointer. Void doesn't return anything, and we'll name it select tile, right? And also we'll have action for use card, use card, yeah, use card. So now we have two actions, and we'll select tile. So we'll invoke them if they are not null. So same thing we'll do here. So we'll invoke them if they are not null. So now everything is currently working, and for one thing which will not work. So currently, yeah, there are these errors. Also, in our turn manager, we need to change our stuff because turn manager currently was controlling clear controller directly. Now turn manager does not need to do anything with clear controller. It just needs to do uh, character. I think so. We'll be just handling character, right? So this one, and we'll name our player to characters. So wherever we see player controller will change that to character, right? And now, so now, yes, now we will call this start turn, take turn from this turn manager, and turn manager now control characters. What we'll do in the player controller is that player controller should have, so currently we are not going to mess with anything related to AI. We are just interested in removing the dependency between our input, which player does, and the actual character, which does some stuff. Okay, so this state would be we need that. So we don't need this state here. So we don't need select state. We don't need this state also. Right at the start of a game, what we actually need is in the player controller. We don't need this, and whoever was using this on tile match. Yeah. So we'll have check timer. We don't need this mesh renderer. We don't need this inventory. We'll need camera for recasting. Yes. So everything is here. And now the important thing is that we'll be needing a character, and on the start, what we'll do is we'll get character is equal to if try get component out character out. So we'll just store it in here, and if we got it, then we don't have any problem. But if this is false, then we would just do debug.log error clear. So this we can just do this dot name requires character script or component. because they are dependent on each other to actually, you know, game to be working. So it's a good thing to throw an error. So this is fine. So we'll do try get component and we'll store it in the character. Now, so now we have character. Also, yeah. So let's just do this. So if and else, so else we put this here. In otherwise else, what we do is we do select tile is equal to select tile. So we'll basically store this method into our function pointers which we created in our actual, like our main character, and now we'll inject these function definitions into that. And so now, yeah, so now this function will be called based on what player controller has passed, right? And so there are some errors. So this check tile function currently can't do anything. So how we'll do this is basically we'll do check tile, and then we'll pass in first tile and second tile, right? So that's how we have to do. And in the check tile we don't need to set them null. And what we can do here is that, yeah, so this is fine. Wherever we are accessing this inventory, what we actually need is character dot inventory. So we can do that. So we can do character dot inventory. We'll find a better way to do this also, but currently we don't. We just want this thing to work. Like there is no wrong in this, but yeah, that. So I guess we'll have a few error here and there. Yeah, so we have this error where we changed this, and we'll be using this namespace for character. Yes. Now in our player prefab, we'll remove this player controller, and now we'll add character, that which would be the most important part of this script. The inventory would be second important. We don't even need this check time now, like actually we do. We only need a mesh renderer, which will be our model. We'll need health level, which we already have, and yeah. So now that has been changed. Hello. Yeah. So let's start. Okay. So I think everything should be working right now. So now we can add a player controller, right? And let's do check time of 0.2 second. And we can add player controller here. So because we added player controller on both of the players, uh, will control both of the players right now. But now in place of player controller, we can create a script which has the same set of functions but will be driven by our AI behavior. And then that's how we'll do. Okay, so we have some errors. I think it's a reference error, yeah. So in the turn manager, because we changed the actual class we are referring to here. So now we'll be doing player 1 and player 2 like this. And I don't think there should be any error. Okay, so now it's our turn. Okay, so now we have another error. So it's somewhere in the select tile. Oh, our camera is null. Yeah. Okay, okay, okay. So earlier what we used to do is that, so in the character also we have camera, and we used to get the camera from our actual world, which we forgot to put it here. So whenever we try to get a character, at the same time we also need to get the reference to a camera, and we don't need that reference in the character. So now we have fixed that error. Okay, so the time is very fast of checking. So you can go to the board, and let's just put a 0.5 second. So we'll wait 0.5 second after revealing the board, flipping both the tiles, and then it would check if they match or not. Yeah, so this, so now it's this turn, and we match, so we get the sword card here, sword item which we can use. We got another one, and now we should be able to do all of this stuff. So now we have successfully separated our input, our user input works, and how it will interact with the character, right? So character can be there as a standalone character even if we don't have player controller. So if I remove the player controller from this particular player, and if I run the function, I think it would throw the errors, or it won't throw the error. But now you can't do anything, right? So our game works, but you can't do anything because the input part, we remove that. So nothing. Now we can do that. And now, so here, rather than just being player controller, we can also have this AI behavior, right? So rather than just controlling player controller, like both user controller, we can create a similar script, uh, which would be which would be sharing this same functionality. Something weird is going on. Okay. So now, so we have select tile, we have use cards, which this is the logic for moving cards in and out of our active slots, and also the merge mechanics. So we can take two swords and we can merge them also. So if I run, And if I open a cheat console, I can do add card, and I can type the name of the card I want, and we can add that like this. And then we can, so once we are in the state of using cards, we can like drag on top of this and we can merge it. So now it becomes like new item. you know. So currently we can merge sword with sword, shield with shield to create a bigger shield. But later we will have a lot of items and we can do a lot of things. If you have any question, you can ask. So let's 1 second. Yeah. So now, yeah. So now, so the important part of the player is this state, this check time, camera. But AI won't be needing this camera. So this camera is not crucial for like actual controller. So what are we gonna do is all the functionalities which like that must like which should be there in this script, we'll figure those out and we'll move them into interfaces, right? And then we'll just create two simple classes and we'll implement those interfaces for creating AI behavior and one for user behavior. So let's create a interface and we'll call this a brain, right? Or we can just say iBrain, right? Because this would be the part where we are actually controlling something, right? So we'll call it iBrain, and so iBrain needs. Uh, I'm conflicted with this state actually. We can just put this here, and we can just then here we can do iBrain dot state. Yeah, so I think I like this one. Okay, now so we do need check time. So let's create a property. Uh, yeah, so let's create check time, and this would be only get, right? Because nobody would able to set this property. We can only set it. Hmm, I guess no big deal here. Yeah, let it be there. We can also remove this. Like we yeah, like check time is not that much of big of a deal. First tile, second tile, those are also not. Yeah. So the character, I think that is the one which should be there. So we can just do public character. Okay, character, and this can be get set or not just set, just get. It should have those cards function. Like this is the important part. Like it should have this function, and it should also have select tile function. I don't care about this one. Like it should just have these two. Any anything else, don't care. Like these two are the most essential part of our brain right now. So yeah, we just need these two. Everything else can be whatever. So this state now becomes hybrid state, hybrid state, same here, hybrid state, hybrid state. Yeah. So now we'll create public class, not public class. What should we do here? Yeah, we can do this hybrid, right? We can implement our interface here. go stream, back to stream. Okay, so now we have implemented this interface. So we also need this method. So we'll just make this public because it's private, so it's giving us error. So we can just do public, and now error is not there. And what we can do now is we don't have to directly, I guess I can just leave it here. Like this is fine. So we can just do that, and we can inject our methods like this. But it seems little bit weird that we have to add this player controller. What I want to do is I don't even need to add this player controller, and we can just have like one tick mark in character that is is AI, right? So if it's AI, then it will automatically uh, add proper AI controller, and if it's not AI, then it will add this player controller. So I think that would be a nice thing. So for that, what we can do is we can just remove this mono behavior part, right? And we can remove this serialized field. Now rather than so rather than using start function, what we can do is we can just create a constructor for player controller which uh, which takes check time, and now we can just set this here. Also, for the character, same thing. Now this won't work, right? So we'll have this character will pass in as argument. So character will be character, and we don't have to do this whole thing. We will be needing this, so we can do this whenever we construct our class. We'll give this information here, and I guess that's it. So now this is like plain C sharp class, which we can make new object of. And yes, so now in character, we'll put here a serialized field called private bool is AI, and on the start, whenever we create when we start our game, we can check if is AI. So currently we won't do anything, but if it's AI, then we'll also be storing. So we don't need this now. We'll be storing brain like this, and then we can have brain is equal to new player controller, and then we can pass in here the character this, and then check time we can pass a 0.4. So we can do this, right? Else, so currently because we only have one script for controlling, so we'll add both of them here. But now you can see, now we can create a new AI controller which would implement iBrain, and now we don't even need this, right? So now we don't even need to inject things because now we are injecting through our classes, right? And now what we can do is, yeah, now it's very simple. Like we now Now in the character, it will give you error. So what we do is brain dot select that. Yeah. So we just do this. So we do brain dot use dot. And now we, rather than injecting methods, we are injecting whole class, right? So depending on what this parameter is, currently it does not matter. We'll be adding like parameter does not matter. But yeah, once we create this AI controller, it would have immediate effect on this. So there might be errors. Okay. So now we don't need this, right? So we actually don't need this script here. And now we just do this, and at runtime when the game starts, it will inject whatever is the correct controller we need for our game to be working. So currently the both will be player controller, so we can match this, and we match. So now it's again our turn for matching. So so yeah. So now I can put the shield here, and then I can skip my turn. So skip attack. Yeah, we can also adjust this properly. So we know that there was a shield here and sword here. So I got sword. What did I call that? Oh, it was here. So now I can match two swords. I can get the sword. I know there is a shield here and shield here. So I can get one more shield. And now there is information that there is a shield sword here. Now what can I do is I can take this and merge, and I can attack, or I can wait for one more sword and then I can combine them and then attack. So I'll do that. So I'll skip my turn, and now it's this turn. So here he found the gold and he found the sword. So I know there was a shield, sword, and sword. So I can now take the sword, and if I can shield, so I match that. So there is a sword and shield here also. So I can match this and then attack with this big sword. So now it will take damage. So now it's his turn. Yeah. So I ignore the sword here. I can damage with this small sword. I want to just chip damage it. So he got the shield. There is a sword. There is a one more sword somewhere. Yeah, there is a cool sword there. So he can attack also to bear down my shield, but I think we can beat. So there is a gold. I know there is a gold, so I got the gold. Currently, the gold have no functionality, but I think the next step would be that. So with gold, we can buy power ups, which can be used to either put enemy at disadvantageous position or to put you in advantageous position. It's same thing. So now there is a gold here and there is a sword. So now I'll skip. Now this guy knows there is a sword, and there is a shield, sword. So there is a sword, and the gold. Yeah. So I can now merge this and then attack. So the shield will block 3 damage, but the player will take 2 damage first. My sword is 5. Yeah. So currently everything works fine. Now the goal is to create a AI controller. Okay, so I think we'll leave it here. right now.